How much would a $200 per month increase for Social Security, including retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, and SSI beneficiaries actually cost? That's a good question, and what I'm going to be answering for you right here in this video, as the dollar amount is probably a lot less than what you're actually thinking. Let's get into it and discuss all the details. All right, now if you are one of the beneficiaries that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you've certainly heard about the $200 per month increase, as we've been hearing about this for several years, most recently from Bernie Sanders as a result of the Social Security Expansion Act, which is the new piece of legislation that would include a $200 per month increase for roughly the next 75 years. But how much would it actually cost? Like I said, the dollar amount is actually a lot less than what you're probably thinking, so let me get into it and break down all the details. All right, let's get into it and talk about the dollar amounts of a $200 per month increase for about 70 million beneficiaries. What would this really cost? Now, here's the thing. We might think of this and think, wow, $200 a month multiplied by all of these months and beneficiaries, we're looking at trillions of dollars, right? No, not even close. Not even close. In fact, in this video, I also want to give you an example of a program that they implemented a couple years ago. In fact, about 2 years ago, they started this program where they were sending out far more than this on a monthly basis for millions and millions of people. In fact, tens of millions of people. I'll give you that example here in just a second and put that into perspective, because that actually cost more money than what a $200 per month increase would be for the beneficiaries. All right, so let's talk through the details. Now, let's anticipate a number of 70 million beneficiaries. Now, obviously, the number's a little bit different than that. It's not right on 70 million beneficiaries of all the beneficiaries I mentioned at the beginning of this video, but you get my point here, okay? We're going to use nice round numbers here to kind of get, an example of what this actually lays out to be, okay? So, anyway, let's talk through the details. So, first up, 70 million beneficiaries. $200 a month would be $14 billion per month, okay? We might be thinking again, oh, wow, that's a lot, 14 billion. No, it's not. 14 billion is nothing. 14 billion is literally nothing, okay? Don't get me wrong. 14 billion for us is a ton of money. All of us, if we had $14 billion, that'd be a ton of money, okay? But my point is, $14 billion for the federal government or for Social Security, $14 billion is literally nothing, okay? So they send out about $25 billion a week in Social Security benefits, okay? Just to put that into perspective, okay? So anyway, $14 billion is how much it would cost extra per month. Now, over the course of the entire year, it would cost an extra $168 billion for Social Security to send out $200 more for all 70 million beneficiaries that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. That's it, $168 billion more every single year, okay? Now, you might be thinking, but that's a crazy amount of money. Depends how you look at it. If you look at it as a perspective as us having $168 billion, you're right, that's a ton of money. But when you look at it compared to Social Security or the federal government, that's nothing. They spend trillions of dollars every single year. So 168 billion is like barely scratching the surface of how much money they spend, okay? It's not that much. Now, here's another thing that I want to throw out really quickly. Now, obviously, I don't want to speculate on this. I'm just simply saying, let's just say, for example, we know that there's about 70 million beneficiaries who receive all these fixed income benefits. However, what if they adjusted the legislation to say something along the lines of any beneficiaries receiving under, again, I'm just going to throw out an arbitrary number. So I'm just trying to throw an example out here. Let's just say that they came together and they said all beneficiaries receiving under $2,500 a month or under $2,000 a month will get a $200 per month increase. Anybody earning over the threshold of say $2,000 or say $2,500 a month would not get the increase. Then how much would it cost? Well, the numbers would be significantly less, okay? Because then it would be highly focused on sending out the $200 just for the individuals that, need the extra boost, whereas somebody getting $2,000, $2,500 or more than that, they probably have other sources of income, and that's significantly more than a lot of people who are getting, say, $700, $800, $914 from SSI, $1,000, something like that. So you kind of get my point there. Again, they could adjust this legislation. They could hone this number down significantly more from the 168. They could probably bring that down significantly if they just focus these payments on the people that, are lower income within the fixed income beneficiaries, if that makes sense, right? Anyway, now, let me give you a quick example of a program that went out and started about 2 years ago, and they had this thing going for 6 months straight, and it was sending out ongoing monthly checks, average check amount being $422 a month for 38 million households. This is a true thing, okay? It was called the child tax credit payments. Let me give you a quick example and the full breakdown on this. Guess how much they were sending out every single month as a result of this program? I'll tell you, over $16 billion a month is how much was going out as a result of the advanced child tax credit payments. $16+ billion. Remember the dollar amount I gave you just a minute ago? A $200 per month increase for fixed income beneficiaries would only take $14 billion. So the child tax credit payments that went out in the second half of 2021 is already costing over $2 billion more than what we're asking for right here. And like I said just a minute ago, if they would hone this program down and only send out the extra $200 for the beneficiaries that have a benefit under, say, like again, I just made an example, $2,000, $2,500, something like that, that dollar amount would come down even significantly more. But my point is, you can see a program right here. They've already done it. The child tax credit payments, the advanced payments were going out, which, by the way, there is a child tax credit that you can claim on your tax return each year, but the advanced payments were significantly higher than what it generally is each and every year as just the straight, the straight line child tax credit on the tax return. So that was even a boosted number that was going out in the second half of 2021. So you can clearly see, my point is, they can do it. They can clearly do this. This is not a problem whatsoever. They have the money available. Now, let me give you a couple more numbers here. Last year in 2022, by the way, recording this video, mid-2023 is when I'm recording this video right now. Last year, 2022, the Social Security Trust funds had $2.89 trillion in them, okay? As a result of the most recent Social Security Board of Trustees report that came out a few months ago, they're now reporting $2.7 trillion, okay? My point is, $2.7 trillion, and we're asking for a little $168 billion extra every month, okay? Now, I have not run all the numbers on this. I can make another dedicated video about this if you'd like me to, but I could run the numbers on this to see how much more would they really need to bring in to cover all this from all of the working people out there to cover something like this, which, by the way, as of right now, the total number of people here in this country that are working, part of the, the labor participation rate is about 187 million people of the 134 million people that, that habitat, that's not the word I was looking for. Sorry, said the wrong word, that live here in the United States. So anyway, makes sense, right? So as you can see here, only about 62% of the population here in the United States is working, okay? Well, if that's the case, then, what would it really cost? What would it really cost each individual person? Now, I don't always think that that's the solution is to, go after all the people like that, raising taxes and stuff like that. But if they're so worried about it, what would it really cost? It really wouldn't cost that much, right? So anyway, I can talk about all the details. I can actually run all the math for you if you'd like in a future video, and I can break all that down for you. Let me know if you'd like me to, but you can clearly see right here, $168 billion. That's it. That's all it would really cost. Meanwhile, they sent out, oh, by the way, I forgot to tell you, the total amount that the child tax credit payments cost the federal government back in the second half of 2021 as a result of the advanced payments, almost $200 billion, about $192 billion, okay? So we're asking for, what is that, $24 billion less than those payments that went out. Make sense? I can sit here and keep throwing numbers out there as well. There's a lot of different numbers and statistics. And again, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for any length of time now, you know that I like numbers. You know that I like calculating stuff. You know that I like percentages and statistics. So this is some crazy stuff right here. That's all it would take. That's not that much. When we look at the big picture, $168 billion is not that much money, okay? Anyway, hope this one answers the question for you. But again, this is still a thing that's out there as a result of the Social Security Expansion Act. The piece of legislation that Bernie Sanders continues to pound the table on. He is very passionate about this. He talks about it every so often, not a ton, but he does talk about it. And this is something he has had private meetings with the president talking about as well. Hey everyone, it's Matt here with you again. I just wanted to come back really quickly and sincerely thank you for your continued support right here on the channel and to let you know I'm hearing you. I completely get it. The struggle is very real right now. I've seen it down below in the comment section many, many times, and I'm doing anything I possibly can to help you out right here in this community through these short videos, and again, doing all the research on a daily basis and continuously advocating for you and everybody right here in the community. Like I've said, it's been a very, very weird time for the last couple years. I think we can all probably recognize that based on the information I've been talking about in these videos for the last several years. It's a super weird time, and unfortunately, I think it's going to be this way for quite a while still. And again, we got to stick together through this time, which is why we've built this community and why there are so many amazing people right here in this community, just like you watching this video right now. And again, I just want you to know I'm doing anything I possibly can, continuously reaching out to Congress and the administration, doing all the research and continuously advocating for the low income, fixed income beneficiaries that we talk about right here on the channel so much. Also, if you've left any comments down below in the comment section, I just want you to know, even if I have not responded to them, I'm seeing them, okay? I get thousands of comments across the entire channel every single day. I read the vast majority of them, okay? However, responding to all of them is not always feasible simply because it takes a lot of time to respond to them, but I am reading the vast majority of them. So even if you're leaving those comments down below and feel like I'm not seeing you, I see you, okay? I get it. The struggle is very real. I'm doing anything I can, and it motivates me when I see those comments coming in down below to continuously dig in and pound on the table here, trying to get more for those of you here in this community. So again, thanks so much for being here. Truly do appreciate it. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Enjoy your day. Have a good one, and catch you again later in the next video.